lessmoneyfoundation.org. We got my good friend, Mr. Kurt Mortensen, in the house. And as you know, of the 7 steps, step number 1 is to make more money. You do that with your job and your small business. Step 6 is to add real estate and turn your little business, small business, into a large business. So we want to show you this wonderful material, and this material is from an organization called Academy for Creating Enterprise, for Creative Enterprise. And if you go to our website, there's some wonderful classes on there. Just simply go to courses, number 2 courses, and pull it down to the Academy for Creative Enterprise. And there's all kinds of wonderful classes. We're going to give you financial rewards just for going to class. And we've got my friend, Mr. Kurt Mortensen, that is here with us today. So, Josh, if you can get Kurt up and ready to roll, we're going to talk about business and how to make extra money with your business. Okay? All right, so Kurt's here, ready to go. Let's go ahead and go into your business.
Excited to have you back. This is lesson 11 with Start Now. Again, these are the details. This is your snapshot. This is how you keep the score. This is how you know if you're making a profit, if you're not. Are you being successful? What do you need to change? What do you need to fine-tune? This is how you know. So let's spend a little more time talking about those income statements, a break-even point, to know exactly what you need to do every day, every week, every month, maybe even every year, take care of yourself and your family and your future. So key is know the break-even point. The break-even point is when income and total expenses are equal. From our income statements, we will be able to calculate the break-even point for our income-generating activities. The break-even point is the point at which the income from the business exactly equals the expenses, meaning the business has made 0 profit and 0 loss. Therefore, any sales that are made beyond the break-even point are profit for the business. For example, if my total expenses are 100 pesos and I sell my product for 10 pesos, then I'll need to sell 10 products in order to break even. Pretty simple, no matter what. Every week, every month, my expenses are 100 pesos, and I know I can sell my product, my service for 10 pesos. Then I need to talk to 10 people, sell 10 people, those 10 products to break even. Knowing that the break-even point for our income-generating activities is one of the most important steps we can take toward understanding our businesses. This, too, is a benefit of making income statements. So the formula is simple, just like we talked about. We have our expenses, our fixed costs per day. Maybe you want to do it per week. Some, depending on your business, per month. Then we divide that by our unit selling price, what we're selling it for, minus our cost, our unit cost. That equals our break-even point. So you have to think about it. I must sell blank each day to break even. I must sell blank each day to make a profit. You need to decide what profit you want to make each day so you know exactly what you need to do. If I'm not making a profit, what should I do? You need to go back to the last lesson where we talked about the gathering stage, where you're negotiating lower prices, different terms, talking to different vendors. How can you reduce the price or your expenses with your product or service? Maybe you can buy in bulk or work with different vendors at the gathering stage. Then we talked about last time the enhancing stage. What can you do with your product or service to enhance it? Is it your service? Is it your delivery? Is it your quality? What can you do to solve a bigger problem to enhance your product or service? So you don't have to charge what everyone else charges. Now you can charge more because it's better, different, or provides more value. Then there's the marketing phase, where you're selling more products. You're making more profit. You're going past your break-even point, where you're working with word-of-mouth marketing. You're doing referral programs. You're using the internet. You're doing social media. You're developing stronger relationships where people go to you first versus other people. You're offering, if it's appropriate in your area, you're offering mobile payments. Maybe you're doing joint ventures with local businesses where you're not competing with them, but you're collaborating with them where you're helping each other. Remember our example, a coffee shop and you're selling pastries and they don't offer pastries. Maybe that could be a joint venture. Maybe you're using more flyers or posters. Maybe you're offering more promotions or discounts or sales. A lot of different things that you could do. So as you look at your break-even point, you can adjust some things around. That's how you keep the score. That's how you know if you're winning the game of business. Now let's practice creating an income statement and then using that income statement to calculate a break-even point. We will read Edgar's barbershop case and then complete the activities. Now, we'll be creating a pro forma income statement for Edgar. The term pro forma means a projection of income, expenses, and profit, and is something we use to estimate potential future expenses and income that have not happened yet. Edgar's barbershop case. Edgar recently married the sweetheart of his dreams. Now as a married man, he feels the heavy responsibility providing for his wife and future family. Edgar was honored to be part of the pioneer batch at the prestigious Academy for Creating Enterprise located in Cebu City, Philippines. He learned a great deal about running a business. Edgar has now examined his talents and has discovered that he has a real talent for cutting hair. This seemed like a perfect business opportunity for him as he begins a new stage of life. To decide if a barbershop is an opportunity worth pursuing, he wants to make a pro forma income statement to see what the profit might be after a third complete month of operation. So as we look at Edgar's barbershop case, here are some of the facts of the case. Edgar charges 20 pesos per customer. Once he establishes his barbershop, he believes he can get 20 cuts a day. However, Edgar believes that the first month he will have 10 cuts per day, 15 cuts per day the second month, and in the third month he will reach 20 cuts per day. Edgar plans to average 20 cuts per day for 24 days after the third month. Rent for this location is 900 pesos per month. Water is 40 pesos per month. Electricity is 92 pesos per month. He will pay himself 20 pesos an hour as an employee of the barbershop. He pays a helper 50 pesos a day to come sweep and clean up the shop. When thinking about his business, Edgar makes the following assumptions. Edgar's friendly personality will prompt many first-time customers to return each month for another haircut. Edgar will work 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. Transportation to and from the barbershop will cost 3.5 pesos each way, or 7 pesos round trip per day. As we know, creating an income statement helps us understand a business and where the break-even point is. Now, we will use Edgar's case to look at 3 other scenarios. Each scenario will highlight a simple principle that can, if applied correctly, increase profit. After reading the scenarios, create a pro forma income statement for a single scenario. So now we need to talk about ways to increase profit. Increasing sales, decreasing expenses, and hiring and properly managing additional employees can all increase profit. So let's take a look at these scenarios and ways to increase profit. There are 3 ways to do it as we look at these scenarios. Increasing sales, decreasing expenses, and hiring and properly managing additional employees can all increase profit. Scenario 1, increasing sales. In this scenario, Edgar keeps his expenses the same as before, but instead of giving 20 haircuts a day, now he gives 25. All other aspects of the case remain the same. So that's a simple way to increase sales. You just do more. Instead of 20 haircuts a day, you give 25. Another way, you could encourage customers to buy more. So maybe instead of just a haircut, there's a haircut and a shave, haircut and a shampoo, haircut and conditioning. See, these are your best customers. These are people in the chair, people in your store, people that want to do business with you. By offering upgrades or upselling, you're making more money for each transaction. Maybe you could refer them to another business that's not competing with you. If you're not selling hair care products, refer them to the store next door that does for a discount, and you can do that cross-selling. So you can show them products maybe they haven't considered, different things they haven't done, You can put them on auto ship, meaning that you automatically send that product or service every month. You automatically sign them up for a haircut every month, or reward customers for their loyalty. Every 10 haircuts, you get one for free. Every time you refer a customer and they come in, you get a free haircut. You can incentivize repeat purchases and generate new customers. So you can do a loyalty program, a referral program. You could offer upgrades. You can show them products they didn't think about buying that complement what they are doing or what they are buying. Another way to increase sales, discounts and promotions. Maybe there's a discount for the first time you come in. Maybe there's a sale on products or services that they need. People love these flash sales, these sales that, today only, or come in or have a promotion. This would be a great way to get more sales, get more customers, and you can leverage that on social media and online marketing. Another thing you can do to increase sales is increase customer service. Now, Edgar thinks, and maybe it's true, that he has a nice personality, people are going to come back. Well, that might be true. We can always improve our people skills, working with others, being nice, and improving our customer service. When we have great customer service and people feel loved, they want to come in, they know you're going to take care of them, that encourages repeat customers. You're personalizing the interactions, you're being responsive. There's no hassles, there's no waiting. If there's a problem, you fix it fast. That's one of the keys to really growing your business. Improving satisfaction increases the likelihood of repeat purchases or coming back. One of the best things you can do to increase sales is sell more to your existing customers. Now, in the second scenario, decreasing cost. In this scenario, all aspects of the case remain the same, except Edgar's able to reduce his expenses by 50 pesos a day. Does he need someone to clean every day? Does he need someone to clean that long every day? Is that something he's willing to do every day? There's a way to put people on commission so they're not salaried. They have to earn their keep, as we say. You know that what they bring in will be smaller than what you pay them. So other things you can do to decrease costs is automate. There are apps, there are softwares that can automate a lot of the things that you can do. Instead of picking up the phone and making appointments, maybe you send them to an app that creates the appointment for you, so you don't have to spend time on the phone or hire someone to be on the phone to make appointments. You can do it all online, all on the phone, especially with customer communication and spending the time to text everyone individually, email everyone individually, post on social media. Many of those things can be automated. Maybe it's taking too much of your time. Maybe you can outsource that. Your goal is to focus on high-value activities. Do what you do better. You look at Edgar, he's good at cutting hair. He shouldn't spend a lot of time on social media or email or texting. How can you automate that? Or if it's not worth your time to do it, you make more money cutting hair, you can outsource it to somebody else. And maybe you don't need somebody full-time. When you talk about outsourcing, that's true with your accounting, your marketing. There are plenty of freelancers or agencies that will help you out. Take a look at those to really free up your time. Then, of course, we've talked about this, and it's so important. You have to ask, you negotiate with your suppliers. You're building strong relationships. You're negotiating better terms. You're bulk purchasing. Maybe a longer payment period can also reduce cost. And as a small business, look at alternatives, other suppliers. Maybe you want to pool resources with another person that's cutting hair or doing the same thing that you're doing and buy in bulk. So if Edgar needs shampoo and he needs to buy 100 units a month, that's too much for a small business. But if there are 5 barbershops, haircutting salons in the area, and they all got together and bought 100, each one of them would win, and it would decrease their costs. Scenario 3, hiring and managing employees. In this scenario, Edgar has hired an additional barber to work with him. Edgar pays him 13 pesos per cut, but Edgar still charges the customer 20 pesos. The additional barber gets 10 haircuts every day for 24 days of the month. Expenses and everything else remain the same. So you could hire somebody, because you're paying the rent, you're doing other things. So they feel it's fair to only get 13 pesos per haircut, and Edgar is making more money to pay expenses. But do be careful. That's a huge mistake small businesses make when hiring new employees. They hire family and friends. I know it's easy, quicker, and faster, and you know them, but maybe they're not qualified. They might feel entitled that you should pay them because you're making money and they're not. They might not work very hard. And I'm just saying, when that's the case, they're not doing a good job. They're very hard to fire. And of course, there's consequences for the rest of your life when you see these people at a family gathering. So when you do hire people, make sure they're qualified. Make sure you've trained them in the right way, because a lot of entrepreneurs, well, it's easy. You just cut hair. You just do this. Maybe you need to train them to be more friendly, to smile, to cut hair quicker, to do it better, faster. Because to you, you do it all the time. It's easy. But a lot of entrepreneurs just say, here, go do it, assuming they know how to do it. Maybe they don't do it. So don't rush the hiring process. Make sure they're qualified. Make sure you talk to a lot of people. I know you're busy. You want to hire one of the first couple of people you see, but do that. Make sure they're trained correctly. They know exactly everything works, and that they're good people. I mean, you could hire the best hair cutter in the world or the best whatever you need based on their qualifications, but make sure they're good people, that they're easy to work with, that they're friendly to other people. Not just qualifications. You want the qualifications, but make sure they're good, friendly people. There's an airline that says, it doesn't matter your qualifications, we just hire friendly people and we're going to train you. They just want friendly, nice people. They can train on the other stuff. They want to make sure you're friendly and nice. So those are the scenarios. So it may benefit us to realize that Edgar is making 7 pesos for every haircut. It may benefit us to realize that Edgar is making 7 pesos for every haircut that the other barber gives, and that the other barber is giving 240 haircuts a month. We will find that Edgar makes 1,680 pesos per month. So what would you do in this situation? What would you coach? What would you tell Edgar to increase his profit? How can you apply these to your income generating activity, or even your trading activity that we've talked about? Do you want employees? Is it going to be beneficial? Is it going to make you more money? Is it going to give you a bigger headache? Is managing employees going to be difficult for you? And that's what we're talking about today, is measuring performance via your income statement. Remember the quote, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement accelerates. So we're going to keep the score. You know, there's this big trend where children are playing a game. It could be any sport. And a lot of the parents are like, we're not going to keep score because everyone's a winner. I'm telling you, the kids are keeping score. I'm telling you right now, learning to lose in life is just as important as learning to win. That's why we do an income statement. That's why we keep scores at games, so we know there's a winner and there's a loser. And when there's a loser, or you're losing money every month, you know you need to change something, one of those 3 areas. So let's talk about the homework. So you've got to figure out, what is your break-even point? That's what needs to be done to break even. Then from there, you can add, okay, what do I need to make for profit every day? You know exactly what you need to do. If you're selling 10 haircuts a day, you're doing 10. If you only do 8 one day, you got to do 12 the next. You got to keep growing and growing. And I love what Edgar did when he realized, he was realistic, that the first month he's only going to do 10 cuts per day. All right, let's be realistic. Then he's going to move it up to 15 cuts per day. Then he was going to move it up to 20 cuts per day based on the month as he grew his business. Then, as we talked about those 3 scenarios, which one are you going to focus on? Are you going to increase sales, reduce expenses, or hire additional employees? Now, eventually you need to do all 3, but which one are you going to do first and focus on as we talked about those different scenarios? So that's your homework. Of course, we need to finish up with the story about 2 neighbors. They lived out in the mountains, kind of in the woods. They were very competitive with each other. They were always having games and competition and different things and comparing each other to what they did. And one day they decided to have a competition to see who could chop the most wood. And they're like, all right, here are the rules. This is what we're doing. We're going to take an hour, and whoever chops the most wood wins. So neighbor number two is like, I've got this. I'm going to win. I'm a harder worker. I'm going to work as hard as I can. And they both started cutting wood and cutting wood and cutting wood, working harder than. And then neighbor number two looked over at neighbor number one, and they were sitting against a tree. And I'm like, they're like, oh, they're lazy. What, they kidding me? They're resting already. I'm not going to rest. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work harder. And then neighbor number one started chopping wood again. And then about halfway through, he was sitting against a tree again. And neighbor number two is like, I've got this. I'm going to win this thing. And this kept happening. Neighbor number one would work a little bit, sit against a tree, work a little bit, sit against a tree. Neighbor number two, I've got this. I'm going to win. And then after the hour mark, they looked, and neighbor one had chopped almost twice as much wood as neighbor number two. And neighbor number two is like, no, that's impossible. I watched you. You were sitting against a tree and resting. And the neighbor number one says, I wasn't resting. I was sharpening my axe. So I want you to understand that as you're working hard and doing things and getting into your business, sometimes we get so entrenched that we're focusing on our business so much, we're not sharpening our axe, where we're learning, we're growing, we're improving, we're changing. That is the key. Don't get stuck. You have to spend time sharpening action. And you know this because you're here, you're listening to this lesson, and pat yourself on the back for doing that. But you're always looking at your business and thinking, all right, how can I increase sales? What can I adjust? How can I automate? What can I do? How can I decrease costs? How can I negotiate a better deal? Are there employees I can bring in that can bring in more revenue, that can help me out, that can help me focus on what I do best? You don't get stuck in that working hard without thinking about sharpening your axe, about improving, getting better, adjusting, fine-tuning. That's how you grow your income generating activity. So do your homework, your break-even point. Choose one for now. Again, eventually we need to work on all three. We're always sharpening that axe. Take time to do that, to evaluate your business, to keep the score, to do your income statement, improve your life, increase your income, help your family, change the community, and go out and make the world a better place.
Thanks, Kurt. And again, getting your small business to a large business is huge. It's massive. Step number one is to make more money. You do that with a job and you do it with your business. Step 6, add real estate and add your small business to a large business. And we do that because we need extra income. We want to teach our kids how to do stuff, and we need some